Welcome to the April Sea Change News Desk. I'm Cheryl Walker.
And I'm Audrey Crilly.
We've had a very exciting month, including developing new work in Aberdeen, becoming Care Accolade finalists again, and taking part in the Bedroom Tax March.
We're delighted to have begun working with new individuals in the Aberdeen area. We have been very busy planning and preparing for this over the past few months. We were pleased that some of the people we now work for in Aberdeen and their team members recently visited us in our Glasgow base, where they had the opportunity to meet with some of the people we work for. Team members and the central team. We wish them all a warm welcome to the organisation. Late. You may already know that our next Late Inclusive Club Night will be held on the 23rd of May in the Arches. Tickets are available and you can call the Dates and Mates team to reserve your place.
The 2013 Care Accolade finalists were recently announced, and once again, for a third time in a row, cchange are proud to be nominated for a finalist award. The award we are nominated for is under the category of Innovation and Redesign, where we submitted an entry about the strategic intent mapping partnership work that we have been doing with Strathclyde University. So fingers crossed when the winners are announced at the awards ceremony at the end of May. I've been Cheryl Walker.
And I've been Audrey Crilly.
And thanks for watching this news video. Now here is a clip of two of our colleagues discussing the potential impact of the recent bedroom tax.
Okay, I'm working for a young man. He moved into his own tenancy last year. When he first moved into his tenancy, his support needs were very high, but gradually as he's become more used to that, his support needs have become less and he is getting less time supported at the moment. So eventually he won't be having anybody overnight with him. So at the moment he's exempt from the bedroom tax, but possibly in another 6 months or a year's time, he's going to be in a tenancy he's settled into, he's got good neighbours, he's made community links, and there's a potential that he could actually be evicted from that property through no fault of his own. It's an area that he knows very well, and it was difficult for him, making that transition from staying with family into his own tenancy was quite a difficult one for him to make, and it took a long time for his confidence to be built up and for him to be comfortable there. But he's made very good friends with his neighbours. He's got links in the community. He goes to a college nearby. So if that was all to end in some way, it would unsettle him immensely, and it may be a backward step in terms of his development and his lifestyle and his aspirations. I think for me the thing that's come out of this most strongly is that there isn't any kind of hierarchical system of need. I mean, obviously we're talking about it from the point of view of people that we work for who have particular disabilities, but there's people from all types of backgrounds and all different types of cultures who are going to be affected by this. And if we try and pit one group against each other as being more need or more deserving of care, then we're really going back to those ideas of the deserving and undeserving poor. And I think we always have to remember that that's not what it's about. It's an unfair and unjust system regardless of who it's being applied to.
Well, if I have to pick one, because there's a few, I think in particular is a guy that we've worked for about 9 years, who basically after a bit of trouble in his life has came to cchange to receive support, who's now lived in his own tenancy for 9 years. Initially, when we first took the support on, there was a need for some overnight support, obviously to kind of keep the person feeling safe from being vulnerable, but also to kind of help him integrate into a community that he wasn't used to living in. Over the years, as this young man has kind of progressed into kind of taking on various things that he does in his own community, there was a less need to offer that overnight support. But the fact is, he's still a vulnerable individual, and he still needs that thought that if he's going through a difficult time, the need for that extra bedroom where support staff or a family member can be invited to come in and offer that kind of short-term bit of support is vital for him feeling still comfortable within his community and within his own environment, and in particular within his own home. Now, what's happened through this bedroom tax legislation that's coming in is that the literature came through the door. There was no attempt made by anybody, as far as I could see, to come in and actually sit down face to face with the individual. It was really just a couple of leaflets that came through the door explaining quite poorly, actually, when you can think about accessible information for people with disabilities, that this extra cost on their income per month was coming in. It was coming in a certain date without so much of a kind of explanation of why and how it would affect. So it caused quite a lot of anxiety for this young man who was going about his business, has got 2 or 3 volunteer jobs, links in with the local colleges, has got great neighbours, excellent links within his community. As soon as he seen this coming through his door, anxiety levels crept up, thinking he was going to be losing his house as of the 1st of April. He didn't have any idea of where he'd be placed. Really kind of was searching for answers that his support team, luckily his family members, could sit down and go through it in a kind of way that made sense for that young man. Even though that was done and sat down and explaining, there's still an element of anxiety, because everywhere you go, you turn the telly on, there's all sorts of different messages going on about what's going to be happening with people in their houses, where they're going to be moved to. There's no clear stability for that. In my eyes, that's part of the bigger effect that's going to happen across the board of the people we support that this could affect. Is it's taking away people's stability. If you don't get stability, that's when vulnerabilities arise, and that's where the support needs will heighten. That's where the community bases will lessen, and that's where the kind of more of the challenging nature of our kind of support will present, because people don't feel safe. A large part of it, this bedroom tax is bringing on people through no fault of their own, is an uncertainty of the future that they think could be taken away as of today, and there's still no clarity from any kind of place that we can find of exactly what's going to happen this month, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line. And it's okay if you've got an understanding of what that's going to be, but if you struggle with these things, if you struggle to understand how to plan for a year or how to kind of prepare for change, it's going to have a massive impact on your day-to-day life. We're a community-based organisation, and we're meant to be providing support. Our remit is to provide support for people to link in with their local communities. If you can't guarantee community, if you can't guarantee that people will be able to live in a house that suited them for 2 year, a year, 3 year, 9 year, if you can't guarantee that for year-to-year basis, and how are they going to assess that in the first place, that rips the heart of the community out. That means you could have neighbours that you'd know for 6 months, you could have neighbours that you'd know for a year. You could be moved, literally you could be moved from city to city, depending where the relevant housing was an option for you. You could be put on a waiting list for 2 to 3 years. Does that mean that you have to, that you're always waiting for, you're always get your boxes packed and waiting for that letter to fall through the door and saying that you're now moving to A, B, C? So the community only survives with the people within that community. And if you've got a static stability of community members, that's when community starts to work. If you're taking people out of that community on a constant, regular basis, it won't work. You'll have a mismatch. You'll have people only knowing people for certain periods. You'll have mistrust within communities because people don't know each other. Massive social impact within the communities, I'd say. people should watch the news, people should look at what's happening in their communities, and people shouldn't just see it's affecting others that they don't particularly know. People should see it as a basic attack on their community, because there'll be people within their community that this affects. So I see it as an overall issue for people to think about. Don't just think it doesn't affect them, because in my eyes it does affect them. As somebody said, wrong's wrong, and that's the way people should look at it. And if you believe that, I think more people will start to kind of question the legislation that's coming in.